Hello, everyone. Welcome in to another podcast with Joan Kaler and my guest. Welcome to EFT Tapping Stories, where I interview super intelligent, gifted people who are knowledgeable and skilled in mind-body therapies. So this is not just about cognitive behavior therapy. This is about what's happening in the subconscious part of our brains, in the body, the sensations, the emotions, the holistic part of you, not just your brain, not just your mind, but everything that's going on below the surface. So I'm Joan Kaler. I'm a licensed professional counselor in Pennsylvania. I help people across the Commonwealth, and very soon, ladies and gentlemen, Pennsylvania will enter the counseling compact, where I will be thrilled to apply for licensure in 37 states. I don't know if I'll go all 37, maybe I will, but I'm really excited about that. So I will be able to help people outside of Pennsylvania because I will be licensed in states outside of Pennsylvania. Hello, New York, West Virginia, Ohio, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware. Here I come. Okay, with licensing. And then I also teach clinical emotional freedom techniques, which is far different than anything you will see on YouTube or in a one-day introductory seminar. So if you want to really learn clinical emotional freedom techniques and dive deep on how to heal trauma, just go to my website, efttappingwithjoan.com, and you can sign up. Okay, enough of this. Thank you for listening to that part. So, my guest today is, oh my goodness, she's gorgeous inside and out. Hillary Straus. So, Hillary is a licensed mental health counselor, holistic psychotherapist, and conference presenter with a private practice in Maitland, Florida, with more than 15 years of experience. Maitland is just outside of Orlando. So, I have had the pleasure of being with Hillary several times in person at conferences and up in Florida, or I should say down in Florida. I go up when I'm in Lake Placid. I go down when I'm in Pennsylvania. Anyway, Hillary is a sought after presenter and trainer. She is marvelous. She's writing a book. Oh my gosh. She's recognized for her engaging presentation style and expertise in trauma treatment, anxiety management, and neurobiological approaches to healing. She has presented at major conferences, including the American Counseling Association National Conference and Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology. I mean, I've been to her workshops and they are fantastic. Hillary is also preparing for the release of her upcoming book on anxiety treatment with new Harbinger Publications scheduled for spring 2026. Yay! We'll have another podcast when her book is released. Through her clinical work, training programs, and presentations, she continues to advance the field of integrative mental health. Yes, mental health is nothing like it used to be in the 20th century. Okay. So after that, welcome, Hillary. Thank you for being on my show today.
Oh, you're so welcome, Joan. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here with you, and I am just so delighted that we met at the Energy Psychology Conference, and we just connected right away. And I'm just so glad to be friends with you.
Oh,
And thank you for inviting me on your podcast. And I love sharing your work that you're spreading with your EFT trainings and helping people get to the root of their issues.
it's yeah. Well, we are. I'd like to think of it as sisters in healing, going out to the world. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that is
just
great.
so much fun to use the tools that we have learned and studied to help others truly heal at a very deep level.
Yeah,
No surface stuff for us.
yeah.
Yes, if
Well,
our
and I think that's why we're both so attracted to the energy psychology group
yeah,
because, like you said, healing is not like it was in the 20th century. I mean, we are in the 21st century, and luckily we are starting to get some really dynamic and really effective methods. And that's where we're at the forefront with the energy psychology group that we both belong to, and where EFT, emotional freedom techniques, has come out of. It's great.
and oh, you'll talk about HBLU, healing from the body level up, being trained by Dr. Judith Swack. It's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. And may I add for our audience, all these mind-body techniques are evidence-based.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't go, oh, that looks interesting. Let me try it clinically. No, there is so much research on mind-body techniques. I mean, that's what Judith Swack does. She's a researcher. And
Mm-hmm.
Lord knows there are over 200 controlled double-blind studies on EFT tapping. So, yes, all of it that we use is evidence-based. Hillary, talk to our audience about anxiety.
Well, I mean, this is such a huge topic, right? I mean, we
Right.
hear anxiety everywhere. And so when I have been working with clients who have trauma, I always see anxiety as part of the trauma that comes out, whether they are aware that they have anxiety or not. But what really sparked my interest in focusing on this more directly is after the pandemic, the rates of anxiety worldwide have gone up exponentially. It's really become another secondary epidemic. Um, and so it really made me curious as to like what we have a tool that can help with this, but we need to have some more understanding of what anxiety actually is. And so when I started looking at other clinical work, I realized that most of the people that came in because they thought they had anxiety, they really had trauma.
Yep.
And so they go together. So whether somebody's aware that they have anxiety or not, some people are really hyper focused on their anxiety, it all comes back to regulating the nervous system. So when I do my neurobiological focused healing work, it really is about regulating the nervous system so that we are not in fight or flight all the time, whether we know that we are or not. And unfortunately, our world is designed at this present time so that we are more often in fight or flight if we're not really paying attention to it.
Yes. Oh, so true.
And so when I think of anxiety, I mean, like we talk about it all the time. There's all these diagnoses in the diagnostic and statistical manual, but really, like, what is it? Like when you think of anxiety, like how would you describe it?
Worrying. And it's always about the future,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's based on actual events, real events, or whether it's based on um, fantasy events of what we think happened,
Mm-hmm.
worrying about it's the shoulda, coulda, woulda, it's the what if.
Mm-hmm. And
What
how does
if
anxiety feel to you? Like when you're doing that and you can feel that you're in that worry.
it feels terrible. I want to get out of it, so I start doing my tapping.
Yeah. Well, luckily you have tapping.
Yes.
Right. And so this is
I'll
where
do
it's so
it
interesting. When I
sometime.
start presenting, when I start asking questions when I'm presenting, I say, okay, tell me what anxiety is. Right. And I got a million hands and people are like, well, it's my heart racing. Oh, I'm sweating. Oh, I'm worrying. Oh, my mind is racing. And we could spend 10 minutes hearing every single little description of anxiety. And I say, guess what? We have no test for anxiety. I mean, other than just these descriptions.
Yes.
So guess what happens? We make predictions or we
Okay.
attribute these feelings with a label. And when we all we hear is anxiety, everything we feel goes into the anxiety bucket.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When
People tell me about having like rapid heart beating. I'm sweat. I mean, I've had three panic attacks in my life and they were terrible. I felt
Mhm,
nauseous. I felt faint, rapid
mhm,
heartbeat. Um, I get very, oh, what do I want to say? Mean and start
mm,
swearing.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
then my mind does start racing
Yeah.
because I go into problem solving mode. What do I need to
Mhm,
do to fix this?
mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, and so when we have this label that is so subjective and so broad, I think what is happening is a lot of things are getting put in the anxiety bucket when really we can separate out so many of these pieces of the anxiety. And that's where a lot of it goes into it's actually your nervous system that you're experiencing your nervous system get activated. But there's not an immediate problem that has to be solved.
okay.
So,
Mhm.
right. So think of it this way. So if you see, a tiger running at you, your nervous system getting activated is going to be really helpful because you're going to need to figure out in that moment what to do with the tiger and
Mm,
how to get yourself safe and get yourself away from that
right.
situation. But when you talk about, you bring up the really good topic of the shoulda, woulda, couldas. There's no actual like immediate problem to be solved. It's a very ambiguous feeling of, oh, I could have done this, or what's going to happen, or what could I do? I don't know. But you don't really, there's no immediate need to like actually do anything.
Yes. I think so many of our clients, I know in my case, people want to control their world. If
Mm,
everything isn't the way they think it should be in order to feel safe, then they spaz out. It's so hard to think about letting go,
mhm.
hmm and just deal with whatever happens in the moment. Because when I say, you can't control everything, you can only control your reaction to situations or to other people. You can't control what's happening outside of yourself. People don't like to hear that, but now it's
No.
rules.
Well, it's interesting because our nervous system can get connected with these other types of emotions and feelings and reactions. So when somebody doesn't feel safe, their nervous system can get tied together.
Yes,
Right? And so then they go into that fight or flight. So it gets into this very circular loop that's hard to get out of because there's really nothing that they need to immediately do to get themselves safe. Because sometimes it's just like, well, I want to control everything. That helps me feel safe if I can control things. Right. And then so you get into this connection with the biology and your nervous system where it gets stuck in that connection. Right. And it has made that association that that is something that's dangerous. Right. And that you need to be in fight or flight. So when we have an amazing tool like EFT tapping or any other uh, form of meridian tapping, there's different forms of EFT.
right.
What we're finding, and that's what all the research is finding, is that there's actually a mechanism that's helping to turn that part of your nervous system off.
Yes.
And it goes into balance, it goes into the rest and relax side of your nervous system and not the fight or flight,
It's
right? So it's like a seesaw.
beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know this past weekend I went up to New York City to study Reiki, and true to form, um, our flight back to Pittsburgh, where I live, was at 6 o'clock and it was delayed. We didn't get out of, we did leave LaGuardia, but not until 11:30 at night.
Jeez.
In the meantime, we got to the airport at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we spent almost 9 hours at the airport. And it was just
Mm,
crazy because I get updates. Okay, this is when the flight is leaving. Now go to gate here. Now go there. Go. We were going back and forth and back and forth. And I thought, okay, get something to drink, put electrolytes in it, sit down, go into your Zen mode, and just sit.
mm-mm.
Nap, go on your iPad and watch a movie
Yeah.
because nothing is going to happen. The worst case scenario, the flight will be canceled. You're still going to live. It's going to be a major inconvenience, but you're going to live. That's what I said. So, fortunately, it wasn't canceled and we did make it home. But that's the type of situation where I just start flipping out
Mm-hmm.
and going into, oh my gosh, this is a complete disaster. And then I catastrophize. I'm never going to
Mm-hmm.
get home. I've got all these things to do on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But that and 50 cents will get me a tenth of a cup of coffee because I have no control over the situation.
Right.
And then when that's,
Yeah, and this is one of the techniques, like what you were saying, one of the ways, because of course, using the energy techniques is just one part of being able to heal anxiety.
yes,
And right, because we also have to bring in, right, when we look at our holistic perspective, we still do have to think about it in a different way.
yes,
And so that's great. You know, that's exactly what I tell people to do. One of the techniques is to say, okay, what's the worst that's going to happen? Okay, the worst that's going to happen is they're going to cancel your flight and you're going to have to take the little tram to the nearest little hotel and you're going to have to get a hotel and you're going to have to get a flight tomorrow.
right. Hmm.
You're going to be fine,
Yes, yes,
right? And nobody's going to die.
right.
Yeah. And sometimes when you can go to that worst possible result, that can help you to feel like, okay, now I do have a little bit of control.
Yes, because I'm just thinking, well, God and American Airlines are in charge of this, so I just better settle down. And I learned all kinds of new ways to pay for things at all these restaurants. It's like, hey, where's the Apple Pay? Where's this? Where's that? I'm not in the 20th century anymore here, so I learned
Mhm,
ways to pay for things.
mhm.
But yeah, it was an incredible weekend. So yeah, here I am back in my office with stories to tell. But yes, to use the tapping or going into my calming techniques, holding front and back of my head, or calming my triple warmer, or a variety of techniques using um, meridian calming techniques, not necessarily EFT, but there are so many
Are,
calming techniques
yeah,
through energy psychology that Hillary and I have learned
yeah.
that we love to teach you
Mhm.
because you don't have to suffer anymore.
Right.
Yes, it,
You know what else you did
yes,
that was great in the airport
mm,
was you got yourself your electrolytes.
yes,
And you know, and it's like, so what happens too, and this is what I mean when I say that anxiety can be confused with a lot of other things, not just trauma, but in that moment, so waiting like that is psychologically using up a lot of energy.
yes,
It's waiting without knowing when something is going to happen is very psychologically laborious. And so you're actually using up a lot more of your body's allotted resources
mm,
than you had anticipated because you thought, okay, right, in your mind, you travel all the time. So you know we got to the airport, you know, whatever, 2 hours beforehand. I know what that feels like. I know I made sure we are either going to eat before we left or we're going to eat right when we get home, right? So you made sure you ate You made sure you had enough water, right? You had enough energy to do that. And so your body's like, okay, good, we're all good. We have, we're in balance, we're fine. And then boom, your flight gets delayed. And not only delayed, but like you don't even know when it's going to happen. So
Right.
now you're just waiting. Could be midnight, it could be tomorrow. And all of a sudden, your body is like, okay, now we are in this now psychologically ambiguous situation. It's going to take up a lot of energy that you didn't plan for.
Yes.
Okay. And so this is where sometimes anxiety can get confused with, did you eat? Did
Your
you
blood
drink
sugar.
water?
Yes.
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 Is your blood sugar low? Right? Is it just mentally draining to be sitting there waiting for American Airlines to text you when it's like, thank God they do text now. That is so nice. I've noticed that airlines are better at texting because it used to be you have to go wait for the board and think, oh no, did I miss it? Let me
Oh,
go look.
horrible. Yeah.
Right. But you're just waiting for your phone to ding to tell you, right? Like, when are we
What's the
getting on this
update?
plane?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that takes up, so I think sometimes what happens is we don't anticipate how much resources we need when something goes off of the plan. So you got yourself your water with your electrolytes, right? Maybe you even got another snack and you sat down and said, okay, I'm going to sit, right? So you like got back in your body, you gave yourself some more resources,
Yes.
and that can make a huge difference with feeling like your body's going, okay, we don't have to be on high alert anymore.
Yes. Yes. Always taking my external battery for my iPhone as well as my cord if I need to recharge. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
plan for these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cool.
So, yeah,
And
so great. And, it's like, and just sometimes getting into your body is enough, right? When you can stop um, that record or the hamster wheel of
yes.
just going round and round. And sometimes when you just sit and you're like, all right, I'm sitting here, I'm going to watch a movie, I'm going to just feel what it feels like to be sitting in this airport and breathe for 5 minutes can be enough to stop that tape.
Yes. Yes. Okay, everybody who's traveling, these are all our suggestions here, or whatever the case is.
And I can say I travel a lot, so there's like not a travel situation that you can throw at me that I haven't been in probably. And so I've used all of these myself, right? It's just like giving yourself more leeway than you think. Okay,
Yeah,
so even if you're like, well, I'm on a diet, I don't want to eat a snack, it doesn't matter. You're in an airport, you're having a situation that's out of the norm, have a snack.
right. Now, whenever I go away, I don't, I mean, I try and eat as healthy as I can,
Mhm.
but I do not, how do I want to say this? Skimp
Right.
on snacks.
Mm-mm.
Whatever I take with me, plus whatever I can find at the airport that's relatively healthy.
Right.
And then the water is the essential component. And then I take my liquid, what they call liquid water or liquid IV or whatever
Right.
it is, liquid water, I think, and pour the crystals into the water and shake it up. But that's the most important thing is to stay hydrated with
Yes.
electrolytes and all that time.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was an adventure for sure, but I wouldn't have and I chose that flight because it was a direct flight from New York to Pittsburgh. I could have gotten an earlier flight, but I only want to fly direct. So, okay, that's the
It
way.
happens. It's just one of the drawbacks of, it's kind of like the roulette wheel. Like, when we love to travel, you roll that roulette wheel of like,
Roll that roulette wheel. Oh, I'll tell you what, I remember the days, but we won't go there.
mhm,
Way back. The first time I flew was 2 years old, so I don't remember any of that. But how it used to be. Oh my gosh. Anyway, enough of that. But there are so many things that we can do that Hillary is teaching us right now. And so when we have these tools, then we can resource, we can use these tools to calm our nervous system so we don't freak out. Or if we're freaking out, how to get back into balance. It can be done, most definitely. Hillary, talk about enhancing your emotional vocabulary for any unpleasant feelings that need resolved. How does that work?
Okay, that's a great next part of this, right? So when you start to feel like all these things, you're feeling all this stuff in your body, right? You feel your heart rate and you're sweating and you're just, you don't feel like you can breathe and oh my God. Okay, this must be anxiety. Okay. So if everything in your life is either good, bad, or anxious,
Mm.
there's not really very many options.
Yes.
So when people research emotions, it's so interesting. And they find that um, people aren't actually very good at labeling emotions. So, one of the researchers that I've followed her work, she did a study to see um, how people differentiate depression versus anxiety.
Oh, cool.
You would think, hey, depression is like you're sad, you're down, you're really low, right? Anxiety is like you're kind of hyped up. So the hypothesis going in was that people would be able to label these two experiences differently.
Yes.
One would think, no, the results were actually that people cannot differentiate the difference between depression and anxiety.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. She did a number of different studies on. Her name is Lisa Feldman Barrett, and she's a she's a neuroscientist. I don't know if she's a neurobiologist. I can't remember, or neuro something. But she studies where emotions are in the brain, or trying to find where they are in the brain. And so this was part of it, is trying to understand people's awareness of how they describe depression versus anxiety.
Mm.
And so with that, and then doing more studies to kind of see, did we make a mistake, or what, like what happened, and just consistently finding that people don't really have a very big emotional vocabulary. And so the larger your emotional vocabulary is, the more nuanced and the more granular you can get into naming your emotions, the less likely you are to have anxiety, depression, feeling type of experiences, because you have other ways of describing them.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we're trained as therapists, Joan and I here. So, right, we know how to be very specific, right, in talking about grief versus maybe just being a little annoyed versus being distraught versus, right, so all these, like, these nuances. So this researcher, Lisa Feldman Barrett, her example is like a decorator. Like, if you go to a decorator and they're like, well, there's all these different colors, there's robin's egg and there's periwinkle and there's teal. Okay, right, they have all these different very great gradations, right? Very specific colors. Whereas, someone who's not trained in that would just go, oh, it's blue.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so that's kind of what happens with emotions, right? So we forget as therapists, because we're trained in being very specific with emotions, that if you're not trained in that, you might not have as much of a vocabulary, depending on your family growing up, how aware of emotions they were. And then I'm sure we've all heard of the uh, the researcher, and I'm just blanking at this exact moment, who's talked about shame, and Brene Brown. And she's
Oh, yes.
done research as well to show that when she asks people how many emotions they can name, they usually can name on average three.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, and that's usually good, bad, and sad.
Yes.
Okay,
Interesting. Okay.
so good and bad are not emotions,
Goodness.
right? And so what can happen is, when what anxiety is one of your words that when you feel tired, when you feel your blood sugar is low, when you feel, you're just, your battery is kind of running low because of whatever things that are going on in your world, you might just pop right to, oh, it's anxiety. It's
Mm.
just because I'm anxious.
I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
And so that might not actually be anxiety.
Yes.
It could be that your body battery needs to be recharged.
All right. And then how does a person recharge it?
Well, and yeah, so that's a great question because then it goes into figuring out, right? And this is where having more emotion words can come in
Mm.
because then if you can actually say, well, I'm just really disappointed in something that happened, then it helps you also to be able to tune into your body. And when you're aware of your body, you can say, oh, you know what? I haven't eaten anything today.
Ah, okay, right.
Maybe I've had clients who I have magically cleared their anxiety in 3 sessions as they come in and they tell me they are so anxious all the time. And so when they come in, they're super anxious. And I say, okay, tell me what's going on. And I'm like watching them and they like look tired. And I say, have you eaten anything today? Oh, no. And I don't usually eat till like, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I
Hmm.
just drink coffee all morning.
Oh, geez.
And, I'm really busy at work, so I don't have time. I don't have time to eat anything. I just drink coffee all day and I don't eat. And if maybe I eat late at night, or sometimes not even 5 or 6, sometimes like, well, I just eat at like 8 o'clock at night.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I'm so starving. And I say, here's a protein bar. I keep protein bars in my office. Here's a protein bar. And I said, next week, when you come in, I want you to eat something like a balanced meal with protein in it before you come in. And magic, magic. No, anxiety is gone,
Yes.
totally gone.
That's one of the things I always ask my clients is, what type of things do you like to eat? Tell me, what did you have for
Mm-hmm.
breakfast this morning? What did you have for lunch? Tell me
Mm-hmm.
some of the things. If there's a lot of caffeine involved, hmm, or some soft drinks that have caffeine, hmm. And those power drinks. Oh, okay, whatever. Hmm. Yes, those can definitely contribute and create anxiety, the feeling of being revved up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So, yeah, depending on how one, kind of like garbage in, garbage out, depending on what one puts into their bodies.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, you and I are blessed. You 12 months out of the year, me 6 months out of the year when I go to Florida because the food in Florida is it's amazing.
Mm,
Everything is so fresh. So, yeah, that's one
yeah.
thing I want to.
We're lucky down here. We do have a great food options.
Great food options, farmers
Mm,
markets. Oh my gosh, incredible.
I
Okay,
know.
get
Well,
back.
you can come down and be with us here all year.
Um, thank you, Hillary. It's a little warm down there, although Pennsylvania has had we've been in the 90s with high dew points too. I
See?
would say, what's going on? I came back north to be cooler, and it's just as hot
Mm-mm.
in Pennsylvania as it is in Florida right now. What is going on?
Yeah.
But it's a tad cooler up here.
Yes.
Thank you for the invitation, Hillary.
Well,
I'm
and one thing that people can do, right? Because you asked about like how do people do this? And one of the things that you can do is by naming very specifically and learning new emotions. So going online, looking up an emotional dictionary, right? Like just,
That's
here's a
really
list of
cool.
emotions,
Yeah.
right? And just getting used to using them,
Yes.
um, and being able to name them, right? Even if it's like oh, look, I'm feeling a little, I'm feeling excited right now because I'm going to go do something fun with my friends. Or, oh, I feel a little sad because, something this happened, right? Or just being able to name the more that you can do that and the more options you have and the more that you learn them, then the easier it is to differentiate between feeling
Yeah.
low blood sugar or anxious because of caffeine
Mhm.
or because there is really something that needs attention.
Yes. And sometimes, if someone is on the spectrum and they can't get in touch with their emotions, I will ask them, or do they have any sensations in their body? Or if it was a color, what would it be? If it was a shape, what would it be? However, whatever their understanding is, and then
Yes.
work with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And getting, and just whatever it is, it's just more specific, right? We don't want a
Right.
big bucket. We
Right.
want very specific things because throughout the day, it is normal to have 10 to 15 emotions. I mean, that's not a actual like research number. I'm throwing that out there. It's just a
Okay.
guess. But
Hmm.
it's very normal throughout the day to have these little ups and downs, to have times where you feel tired or you feel hungry, and you're not going to feel as upbeat and positive as maybe you want to feel all day.
Right.
Yeah. And
Right.
so that's great with somebody who's more on the spectrum, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be the emotions, but it's just labeling whatever that is.
Yes.
Hmm.
So awareness of the emotion, keeping the blood sugar at a steady level, water, um, tapping, meditation, whatever, healing from the body level up, tapas acupressure technique. There are so many ways to stay in balance. And if there are any licensed therapists out there, please join us at the Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology, where you would learn meet so many fantastic people and learn so much, not to mention earning continuing education. Just
Hmm.
saying. Hillary, this has been fascinating, and I am sure the people that are watching and listening learned so much today. I learned so much. Now, I'm going to put your information, of course, in the description for both listening and watching on YouTube. But how can people get in touch with you?
They can go to my website and it's really easy. It's just my name, hillarystrauss.com. And you can sign up for my mailing list. I only send out maybe one email a month, maybe every other month, or when there's events going on. But I teach classes and I do webinars and I have the book launching next year. So if you want to stay up to date, my website is the best way to get on my email list. I have a YouTube channel that is just starting to grow.
Yay!
And so that because then I have demonstration videos on there of how to do the tapping techniques for trauma. Um, and in the demonstrations as well as some guided ones. So you can find the link to that on my website as well.
Yay!
So yeah, and I'd love to hear from everybody if you have questions, if you have ideas for things you'd like to hear me teach. I am always looking for suggestions. So
Now, I will put this information in, as I mentioned, but Hillary, spell your name for everybody.
Hillary is Hill, two L's, Ary, and Straus is Straus with one S at the end.com.
.com. Okay, just want to clarify that for anyone who wants to go there right now.
Yes, two L's, one S at the end.
Hillary, thank you so much for teaching us today. And thank you out there for listening and watching. Please feel free to share this information to those that you think might be interested. And if you feel so inclined, then subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my podcast, whatever you choose to do. I am in deep gratitude for your listening and watching today. So I want to wish everybody peace and joy and calm and namaste. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Joan. You are such a beautiful light in the world, and I'm so
Oh, you're so
grateful for
kind.
you. and everything that you're doing to share this with the world.
I'm trying. Bye, folks.